Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're cracking open a really fascinating set of sources, starting with something quite simple, actually, an inheritance.
Right. A researcher, Matthew, inherits this old house in Clerkenwell, London. Cloak House, it's called.
But this isn't just about property records. This house, it turns out, is like a wormhole, straight into Elizabethan high science, occult practices, and London's secret history.
It really is a unique set of materials because we're following Matthew's modern investigation, digging through parish registers, old tax records.
And that investigation immediately leads him back centuries.
Exactly. To the house's owner in 1563, a name many will recognize, Dr. John Dee.
Okay, so Matthew finds the record, St. James, Clerkenwell, Cloak House, owner active John Dee, clear as day.
But then he talks to the archivist, Margaret Lucas, and she just drops this bombshell.
Yeah, her take on John Dee. The previous owner of Matthew's house was a black magician.
And that's our mission today, really. How does this celebrated intellectual, a favorite of the Queen even, get labeled a black magician?
And what did he actually leave behind in that house? That's what we need to unpack.
Okay, so John Dee. Before the crystal balls and all that.
Yeah, let's establish the baseline first. He was seriously respected, wasn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Contemporaries called him brilliant, one of the ornaments of his age, the prince of mathematicians.
Right. Navigation, geometry, astronomy. He was at the forefront of Elizabethan science. Designed charts for explorers.
That was his public celebrated side, high science.
But he wasn't satisfied just, observing the world. He wanted to manipulate it, recreate it almost.
Which leads us to thaumaturgy, the science of wonders, basically, using mechanics to create, well, marvels. Mirabilia.
The things to dazzle your imagination, as he put it. We're talking practical effects, right? Optics, pneumatics.
Yeah, springs, ropes. We have accounts of him creating illusions, like a flying wooden dove.
Or even more dramatic, this image of a grave ancient man flies above the city, like a 16th century special effect.
And for Dee, these weren't just tricks. They were serious mathematical demonstrations, proof of concept, using optical perspective to elevate the mind.
But that's not how everyone saw it, which seems to be a running theme.
Exactly. Here's where the tragedy, or maybe the frustration, comes in. The audience reaction.
Right. He puts on these spectacles showing the power of science, and they don't get it.
Worse than that. We have this account of a pert little man in green jerkin watching Dee's work.
Uh-huh.
And just dismissing it, calling these complex mechanisms but toys, mere deceit of the eye.
Ouch. So his grand philosophical demonstrations. Seen as cheap entertainment.
Yeah. And Dee apparently despaired over this. The folly and forgetfulness of the world, he called it. He felt misunderstood, forgotten, time slipping away.
So if mainstream science and public acclaim weren't giving him what he wanted,
he had to look elsewhere, deeper, into more, let's say, unconventional paths.
Which takes us towards alchemy and Hermetic philosophy.
Precisely. This idea of correspondence, what is above also lies below. He wanted to unify everything, astronomy, astrology, and alchemy.
He called alchemy astronomia inferior, didn't he? Lower astronomy.
Yeah, suggesting working with matter on Earth was just another way of studying the cosmos. The sun, gold, the human heart, they were all connected, analogous.
It's a fascinating philosophy, but it leads him down a very strange path, which brings us back to Matthew's house.
And the most startling find there, something beyond just turning lead into gold.
This is the recipe, found in his father's handwriting, titled Dr. Dee's Recipe for a Homunculus.
An artificial human, created alchemically without normal conception. For Dee, this was maybe the ultimate goal.
Why? To cheat time.
To overcome that perpetual flux, that decay he feared. Why rely on fragile human life if you could, manufacture a perfect, perhaps eternal substitute?
And the recipe itself is, well, it's something else.
Disturbingly specific. You need the seed placed in sealed glass from Antwerp. Then bury it in horstone for 40 days. Needs the heat, you see, with 4 magnets.
Boars stung in magnets, right.
And you have to refresh the water every 4th day with liquid of fresh dew.
What happens after 40 days, assuming you follow all that?
The text says it starts to move, to breathe. It looks humanish, but transparent and without any eyes.
Transparent and eyeless.
Okay.
Still needs something, then.
It needs life force. Arcanum sanguinis hominis, the secret of human blood. It has to ingest blood for a year to stabilize.
Blood, right. And then it becomes
a
pretty little infant thing. But it's artificial, created, not born, calculation, not connection.
And the notes Matthew found, the ones his father wrote, they claim this thing lived For centuries.
Well, it supposedly has a 30-year life cycle that needs regeneration, but
Yeah.
yes, the notes make these incredible claims.
Like placing coins on Isaac Newton's eyes when he died, that's in there.
It is. Claims that knew Newton, Charles Babbage, even prophesied the end of the world, year 2365. Wow. So whoever wrote this believed they'd created something that transcended normal history.
Yeah.
Kind of living archive.
It suggests a belief in continuous hidden knowledge passed down through this entity.
But if Dee had this recipe, this secret knowledge, why turn to scrying? Consulting spirits. That seems like a huge risk.
Good question. Maybe the homunculus wasn't enough. It was still made of earthly stuff. Dee felt constrained, like he was born out of my time.
He wanted more direct access, divine knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. He wanted the entire sky, not just a wooden globe. That hunger led him to scrying, using a crystal or mirror to contact, well, other entities.
And this requires a medium, a scryer, which brings Edward Kelly into the picture.
A very controversial figure, Kelly. He arrives with this crystal stone and some old papers, supposedly found near Glastonbury.
Claiming they revealed the location of a lost mystical city.
Trenwyn, the original London, supposedly, buried near Wapping or Aldgate. Dee believed finding it would unlock ancient, powerful secrets, maybe even related to eternal life.
But Kelly himself, Dee's wife, Catherine, had serious doubts about him, right?
Oh, big time. She thought he was a con man, basically. Accused him of stealing her rings.
And snooping through Dee's papers to learn his secrets by rote, as the source says.
Yeah, so you have this tension. Dee aiming for the highest spiritual truths, while his wife is worried about the medium pocketing the silverware. It's very human.
Despite the drama, the scrying sessions went ahead. They saw visions. Angels.
An angel named Zelpor, apparently, who laughed at humanity, called people silly flies playing with fire. Warned Dee his real enemy was mankind, a rather bleak celestial view. And interestingly, the visions started reflecting Dee's own hidden obsessions back at him.
How so?
Kelly described seeing scenes of London life, two men talking, one mentioning seeing the other in Harlot Street or Charlotte Street.
Okay, and the significance.
Centuries later, Matthew sees his own friend Daniel, dressed in women's clothes in that same area. A strange echo of hidden lives across time.
Wow. And the spirits.
Wow.
They knew about the homunculus.
That's what Kelly reported. They mentioned it, which must have been staggering for Dee confirmation that these entities could see his deepest secrets, his plans.
And then the big vision. The ritual.
Yes. Kelly described seeing the spirits acting out the homunculus creation ritual inside the ruins of this lost city, pouring blood onto a wax figure over a fire.
So for Dee, this linked everything. The lost city wasn't just about wisdom, it was the place where this artificial life could be perfected.
It seems so. The physical location, the mystical city, was needed to fully realize the potential of the fabricated life, the homunculus, to conquer time and achieve immortality.
Which brings us right back to Clerkenwell, to Cloak House. Today, Matthew starts finding physical evidence.
In the garden, yes. A snapped glass tube matching the description of the homunculus apparatus from the recipe.
And bones.
Small bones arranged in a ring, probably animal, cat, dog, something like that, but laid out ritually, suggesting someone tried the ritual there.
It connects Dee's historical obsession directly to the physical place.
Yeah.
But the house's dark legacy didn't end with Dee.
No. This is where Matthew's personal story takes a very dark turn. The secrets weren't just Dee's. They belonged to his own father, too.
His friend Daniel reveals the truth about why Matthew's father bought Cloak Lane. It wasn't just an old house.
No. Daniel called it the perfect cover. For what? For sexual magic. Rituals performed in the basement.
The same basement where Matthew later commits an assault. His father was trying to, conjure ghosts.
Conjuring up the ghosts of the past, Daniel said. A twisted attempt to gain power, maybe renown, through these rituals, echoing Dee's quest, but in a far more destructive, personal way.
Seeking new life, eternal renown. But it just created damage.
Immense damage. The father's pursuit, like Dee's maybe, led to a loveless existence. A calculated, sterile approach to life that mirrored the cold creation of the homunculus myth. It resulted in trauma.
And then the final piece falls into place for Matthew.
Yeah.
The most devastating one.
He learns from his mother that he was adopted.
His whole life, his identity.
A construct, fabricated by his father, who found him and declared him very special, unique. But it was all part of this magical delusion.
The mother reveals her own pain, being trapped in this man's obsessive quest. Matthew realizes his sense of self was built on a lie.
Just like the homunculus, an artificial creation born of calculation, not love. He says he felt lost from the beginning. He saw ghosts in London, he realizes, because he grew up in a world without love.
So the deep dive started with Elizabethan cosmology and ends in modern psychological trauma, all centered on this one house.
The house became this amplifier, this dark lens, connecting Dee's ambition across centuries to the father's destructive obsession, and finally to Matthew's unraveling. The secrets didn't decay, they festered.
Dee wanted to transcend the human, didn't he? He said, if
Yeah.
you do not therefore make yourself equal to God, you cannot know God.
A monumental ambition. But what we've seen is that this pursuit, whether through Dee's alchemy and scrying or the father's basement rituals, it led away from connection, towards deception, coldness, buried pain.
The search for eternal life, for ultimate knowledge, ended up poisoning the lives connected to Cloak House.
It really did. Dee feared that perpetual flux, the constant change and decay of the world.
So the final question for you, the listener. If everything is always shifting, what price would you pay to find something permanent, a true and fitting destination outside of time?
Maybe the sources suggest the answer isn't out there in the stars or in ancient recipes.
But buried closer to home. In the difficult, perhaps hidden corners of our own histories, that might be where the real work lies.